Good morning, everybody. My name is Dratnos. Welcome to our 5,000 subscriber special. Welcome to my face. So, today I'm going to be talking with you, as well as showing you my face and how it animates when I discuss things. I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about making a gaming YouTube channel, how it worked for me, how I think it can work for you if you're interested in doing it yourself, all that kind of stuff. So, the first thing that you want to think about if you're interested in making a gaming YouTube channel, you kind of want to figure out if you're actually interested in doing it, or if you're, if you'll stick with it. And again, that's kind of that one is going to be something that you're not going to be all that sure about. But if you do want to make a gaming YouTube channel, the best way to kind of figure it out is just go for it and see if it works out for you. If you think you'll have fun doing it, you might have fun doing it. Go for it. Why not? And you can there's nobody that'll hunt you down if you stop creating videos after 2 weeks if they're not working out that well for you. So, first thing to think about if you're going to be making a gaming YouTube channel is what kind of time commitment are you ready to invest here? And if it's going to be less than 2 or 3 hours a week, probably don't want to really bother, because if you're making a gaming YouTube channel, part of what you're doing is going to be releasing videos rather frequently, hopefully. You want to be doing 1 or 2 at least a week. I started out doing 1 every 2 days. Now I do 2 or 3 a day because it's much easier for me to produce now. But I'll get into that later. You want to be thinking you're probably not going to get that much recognition. Even I get very little recognition in the scheme of things at this level, and I've got, as you know, 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys very much for that, by the way. Awesome. And you'll probably not also make all that much money if you're kind of deluded into thinking that it's a very easy way to get rich. It's really not. Yeah, you need to have 5,000 views a day to really be kind of starting to get into the better than minimum wage area. To put that into perspective, I have 6,500 views a day right now. So I have if this was minimum wage, I'd have this much of it right now if I decided to make this a career. So that's not really something you want to necessarily be doing until you actually get a lot of subscribers. And there are not that many people above that kind of limit. There's probably a few hundred or a few thousand in the world that are able to do that right now. And again, hopefully that can be somewhere where I'll be in a few years. But it's certainly something that you need to be both lucky and good to get to. Now, if you do decide to get started, first thing you need to think about content. You need to be creating good content in order for people to watch it. Now, there are people who try and start their channels by promoting themselves on in various different ways. Some are better than others, and I'll talk about that later as well. But the first thing you need to have is content. There's literally nowhere you can go if you don't have a base of content to start. You need to be creating things that people are going to watch before you can try and actually get them to watch it. And some channels try and do this the other way around. They try and get people interested in the channel and then create good content. That's not really... How many channels have you ever watched where that has happened? Would be my response to that. Let me move my headphones out of the way. This is how I look with headphones, by the way. Anyways. Don't actually look like this with the headphones off. I'll show you at the end of the episode what I look like with headphones off. Anyways, so yes, you need to be creating good content. That's the first step if you're interested in creating YouTube videos, is create stuff. The best rule of thumb is, would I watch this myself? And if you wouldn't, don't try and expect other people to watch it for you. Don't feel entitled to people watching your videos. Don't feel entitled to them watching the whole thing. Don't feel entitled to their feedback. Don't feel entitled to anything. That's a bad way to get into this thing. That's a bad way, pretty much as a life strategy. Avoid being entitled to things, and that'll, don't avoid being entitled to things. Avoid feeling entitled to things when you're not entitled to things, which is going to be the vast majority of the time. As far as, an extension to that general rule of thumb is just always put yourself in the viewer's shoes. If you've ever got a dilemma or something, if you're ever thinking about what to do, try and think, what's this going to look like to my viewers if I do this? Are my viewers going to see through my evil plot here? Usually, yes. They'll usually know what's going on. People are... And often they'll create a conspiracy theory where there isn't actually anything as well. So, be careful. Make sure that you're respecting your viewers. There are enough of them where, even if the vast majority are idiots, which they're not, you guys aren't idiots, but, even if the majority of them don't catch something, it only takes 1 or 2 of them to... And then if one or two of them have a very legitimate complaint with your channel, fix it. Do it. But also there will be times when they don't have legitimate complaints, and it's important that you need to be able to weed out which things are legitimate and which things aren't. The best way to do that is kind of detach yourself emotionally from the situation and put yourself in like a new viewer's shoes and think, how would I react to this? And if it's like, oh, well, that guy actually does have a point, don't get bitter. People telling you what's wrong about your channel is not a bad thing. That's the best thing. That's people like basically saying, hey, here's how you can be better at stuff. Don't take it as like, hey, you're doing it wrong. Take it as, hey, here's how you could be doing it right if you don't get all petty and let your emotions take control, which is the human thing to do. So you need to kind of suppress that. In general, don't attach your ego to your channel. That's the thing that a lot of people do. That's kind of their downfall usually. That's why a lot of people will like pay for subscribers and views. Don't do that. That's bad. Bad. Doesn't actually give you anything. You want people watching your videos because they're watching your videos. You don't want them watching your videos because they're part of that scam as well, or because you don't want them clicking the subscriber button because somebody told them to, because some website has made a fake account to do it. That number going up doesn't mean anything unless it's somebody legitimately clicking subscribe. Doesn't matter what subscribe means to them, but it matters that they're legitimately doing it. Doesn't matter if they're going to watch all your videos or one of them, but they have to be a legitimate person actually watching your stuff for you to get any real benefit out of it. So don't get scammed by people who are offering to sell you subscribers, or who are like, hey, I'll subscribe to your channel if you'll subscribe to mine. No, don't do that. Are you actually, like, when you see that, would you watch their content? The answer is probably not. You'll probably be like, oh, okay, I'll get a new subscriber. Sure, I'll subscribe to his stuff. He's thinking the same thing. He's like, okay, my subscriber count's gone up here. I'm happy to subscribe to this guy. But you're not actually subscribed to each other. You're just pushing a button. The subscription matters because it's people who want to see your content. And so never violate that. Never get people subscribed for anything except that. Now, I've been guilty of sort of doing this before. I've been like pushing for subscribers a little bit, not nearly as badly as is usual. But after the fact, I've looked back and I've been like in season 1 when I had a subscriber per 10 blocks thing, or 10 blocks per subscriber for my Millionaire Village type thing. Looking back, that's kind of a mistake. I'd recommend not doing something like that. Don't incentivize people to like your video or to view your videos or to subscribe to your videos, because those are actually technically violations of YouTube's community agreements, and it's a good idea to stay away from that. And it doesn't usually end up helping you in the end either. It's not a huge benefit. The better idea is to just ask them at the end of your videos, say, hey, if you like this, it helps me a great deal if you like, type thing. Because it does, and usually they'll be able to tell if you're being sincere there, and that'll work better anyways. Where were we? Oh, yes, I have a little document here on my laptop that I'm using to help me remember what it is I'm saying. And near the top here, I've pretty much skipped down and covered like half of the stuff at the bottom because I'm bad. Anyways, recording quality. You want to be recording in 720p. It doesn't really matter for most people, but the reason that it does matter for if the uploader is because it helps you in YouTube search ratings, which is where you're going to be getting a lot of your views. 20% of my views come from YouTube search ratings. To put that in perspective, only 19% come from subscribed people. So, come from like their subscription box. So YouTube search and featured videos, that's where you're going to be getting a lot of people to see your stuff. So you need to, like, if you're not HD, their algorithm penalizes you for that. That'll put you lower down. And that's bad. You want to not do that. Upload your stuff in HD, helps you in the search ratings. Fun fact, you're also up, like, for the first 24 to 48 hours after your video is uploaded, it also gets a boost in search ratings. So that's how new videos actually can get found. And my videos, I've actually got some screenshots of, like, if you search Technic Pack right after one of my videos comes out, often I've beaten the Yogscast in terms of search ratings just because of that new tag. It's very powerful. So you can actually, using that, you can catch up to people if you create good content. But always content first. Content first. That's my main. If I can get you one thing in this, content first. Don't upload something you wouldn't watch. Those are the big rules. If you follow those and nothing else in this, that's probably better than the other way around. Anyways, if you have black borders around your videos, fix that. Fix that. Fix that. If you have audio quality in your videos, fix that. Fix all of that. That's very important that you fix those. Because people don't watch your videos if you... Like, have you ever watched people's videos when they've got bad video or audio quality? Probably not very often. I've done that a few times myself, and the amount of dislikes you get, the amount of people, if you look at the viewer retention graph, the amount of people that start dropping out as soon as that happens, it's ridiculous. Just avoid it. This isn't a technical tutorial for how to use Fraps or whatever. You'll have to find that elsewhere. There are a bunch. You can YouTube search them. Please don't post in the comments. Help how to use Fraps, please. Please help, type stuff like that. That's not what this video is for. This video is more about the theory. But if you're wondering, like, hey, I'm producing good content, look for that. Check to make sure that your sound quality is good, your video quality, all that first. And look for tutorials on YouTube. There's a tutorial for pretty much everything on YouTube. So just do that, and don't ask me for tutorials on that. I've created a few tutorials for, like, I created a tutorial for installing the Technic pack. I'm not interested in doing much more than that. I probably won't do a Fraps tutorial because there's so many different ways it can go wrong that it's better to kind of post on support forums if you're having issues with stuff like that. Anyways, voice quality. Your voice needs to sound like something people want to listen to. That's kind of just a luck thing. It's also kind of how you present yourself. Like, I have a recording voice that sounds a little bit different than my regular voice. This is my recording voice right now. My regular voice, I don't even know. I can't, it's kind of impossible for me to switch to it while I am recording. So, little quick changes to your voice. You want to have a lot of changes in your pitch and inflection if you want to think of it technically. You want to sound engaged. You don't want to sound all monotone like this. This is the kind of thing that loses you people viewing. You don't want to do that. You want to have your voice sound up. You want to sound engaged. You want to sound interested. You don't want to have dead space in your videos. Dead space will kill your videos. If you have 5 minutes of beautiful content and then 10 seconds of saying nothing, bad things happen. Don't do that. Don't do it. Do not want that. You do not want to not be talking for a video. Stall whatever you can. Make random humming noises. Whatever. That's what I do. I just start going, stuff like that. Fill the space until you can think of something intelligent to say, or in my case, something not intelligent to say. As a general rule of thumb, try to make your videos funny, informative, or both. Both is obviously the ideal. That's how, like, the Yogscast got started, because their first videos were informative to everybody, because they were, like, seeing this new game. Funny is also a good way to go. If you have just one and not the other, then that can still work for you. Like, just informative would be Direwolf. Just funny would be me. Zing, Direwolf. Who doesn't watch my videos or anything like that. I've spoken to him, like, once, tangentially, during a live stream, during one of Nearby's live streams that he joined in for a second, but I've never actually, like, directly talked to him, so, sorry, Direwolf, if somebody ends up linking you to this video, ignore that. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, and I'm not calling myself funny anyways. I know I'm not all that funny, and there are people way funnier than me. Anyways, funny, like, if you're trying to improve your videos and you're like, how do I improve them? Become funnier, become more informative, or both. That's generally kind of the direction you want to be heading in, and that's kind of how you want to be thinking. You want to have, like, when you're doing stuff, the first thing you want to be talking about is what you're doing. If you haven't explained fully what you're doing, even if you've explained it in a previous episode, don't assume that everybody's seen all your previous episodes. You want to kind of strike a balance between not saying the same thing every episode, but also re-explaining things every once in a while, or kind of reiterating, giving them, like, a shorter version that helps them figure out what's going on. Because there's nothing quite like watching a video where people don't tell you what they're doing. And I'm sure that you've seen videos like that and you've stopped watching, but then it becomes very easy to accidentally do that in your own videos. So keep that in mind when you're recording your videos. That's a good one to kind of have in the back of your head, is to always make sure that your videos could be understood by anybody watching them. Otherwise, you can talk about other things about the game. It's not that hard to come up with things to say. Getting engaged in things like observing some weird bug in the landscape or something that people would normally just ignore. Start taking something in the game to, like, its logical conclusion. Something like that. Come up with something witty or funny to say. It's not all that hard. If you're interested in figuring out a way to improve that, look into learning improv comedy, sketch comedy, that type of thing. Learn about that. You can read there's a cool book. Let me actually look this up. There's a very cool book called Improvisation in the Theater, by, let's see, Keith Johnstone, that can help you figure out how to be. That's mostly, like, if you're in a multiplayer series, those kind of things are a good idea. You kind of always want to be engaging. You always want to be advancing a storyline, and you want to, if you ever, like, I watch a lot of videos where people are like, they're playing a character, but they're not taking it all the way to the extreme. And that's just no fun for anybody. If you're going to play a character, take it all the way. Take it, like, overcommit to your character choice and go for it. And these are some of these are theater terms, but there's nothing super inaccessible there. If you're going to do something, do it 100%. Otherwise, don't do it. Because there's nothing quite like seeing somebody being like playing, like, a character, like, half the time in their game. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. That's no fun for anybody. Be consistent with what you're doing each episode. So if you go from, like, a Let's Play that shows everybody everything in one episode to, like, a Direwolf style, show you only the substantive stuff, either one of those can work for you, but pick one and be consistent. Both Nearby and myself have had issues where we've kind of slightly deviated, and we've been yelled at for that. And people get used to things. Don't change your stuff. Don't, like, if you've got something that's working, changes should be, you have to be very careful changing things because people on the internet are incredibly resistant to change. It's like the Facebook thing. If they move their menu bar on Facebook 5 pixels to the left, everybody goes up in arms about it. So you need to be aware of that, and you kind of need to be very careful. You need to make sure that you explain every change you made and why it's good for people if you ever do make changes. Don't make, because people get used to moving their mouse and clicking something, and if that changes it a little bit, they get annoyed. So be very careful with how you make your videos and make sure that there's not changes in them that aren't for a reason. Like if you set your series up so that it's a let's play where you show everything, and then one episode you don't show everything, or if you set it up as one where you only show interesting stuff, and then one episode you go mining, either one of those is going to get you people mad. And people on your channel being mad, to some extent, is going to be unavoidable. You're always going to do something that annoys some group of people. You can't please everybody. I try to. It doesn't work for me. Although it's better than not trying to in some cases. But yeah, you kind of need to pick your battles. And there's some where it's worth just stepping back and letting people have their way on some silly things because it's easier than the alternative. Yeah, I'm sure you've been that way before, where you've gotten annoyed when somebody's done an episode that's out of the ordinary, that wasn't like a special episode, that was just different. And yeah, other people do that to you. Again, put yourself in the viewer's shoes. Always be aware of how what you're doing is going to come across, because there are times when I've done things and people have like all thought that I was being evil or horrible, that kind of thing. I've gotten so many like insults, death threats, no death threats yet. Injury threats. I've gotten people who've done that, but nothing like serious. Nothing I'm worried about. Because of the weirdest things. So thinking ahead and seeing if you can catch those in the bud and just not say them. I mean, to some extent, people getting mad about your stuff is unavoidable, but to another extent, if you can avoid some of it, that'll make your life a little bit easier, and that'll save you that red little dislike portion of your like bar, and hopefully not the green little like portion of your dislike bar. You want to be avoiding that. Don't ever, if you're in multiplayer, if you're doing a multiplayer series, I'll talk a little bit about multiplayer right now. It's fine to play an antagonistic character. It's fine to attack the other people or whatever, or to be, sabotaging them in different ways. But do it cleverly. Don't sabotage people in a way that actually makes the series less enjoyable to watch. Don't blow everything up. Nobody wants to see that. People want to see you do something clever, like catch some guy in a sneaky trap, do that kind of stuff. Don't, like, actually set everybody back a few episodes. This is mostly like a Minecraft theory, but the same holds true in other games. You want to be kind of cleverly design it like a plot, like be an evil arch supervillain or whatever if your group needs that, but don't do the kind of stuff that you do if you were actually trying to like mess up the series. So think about instead creating an interesting series by adding conflict to it, and that's the core thing. Like in any acting situation, in any improv situation, you want to either help or hinder, but you want to do it in a way that's exciting for people, and be funny, be informative, whatever, one of the two. And in any multiplayer setting, you kind of need to figure out, like, okay, this is a team of like 3 jokesters and nobody who knows what they're doing. I'll try and figure out what I'm doing and fill that role. Or this is a team of 3 people that know what they're doing and not really anybody kind of joking around. I'll be the guy that jokes around. That's what I did with our Tech It series with Nate and Nearby, and that's helped that series tremendously, in my opinion, although I'm very ego-filled, as much as I try to hide it on YouTube. So that's mostly my personal opinion. Now, when you're picking which game you play, this is a tough one. You want to kind of think about how many people are searching for content in that game and haven't found it yet, like are searching for YouTube series each day, versus the amount of content that there already is for them to find. So, with Minecraft, for example, there are a lot of people searching for that content, but there are loads and loads of things for them to already find. So unless you can find a specific niche for which there are people searching and nothing to find yet, like Technic was that a few months ago, it's not anymore. Technic is now kind of oversaturated on each side. You need to make sure that you're thinking ahead. I've got a thing in my mouth. I don't even know what that is, like a little thingy. Anyways, be aware of that, and make sure you pick your game cleverly. A little cool tool you can use is called the Google AdWord tool. You just Google AdWord tool. It's the first thing that pops up, and you can just put in, you do a little CAPTCHA to make sure you're not a robot, and you type in words or phrases, and it'll tell you how many Google searches happen each month for that. that's a good way of figuring out what kind of desire there is for your game. And again, you're kind of like you're obviously hoping to find the next Minecraft. You obviously want to find something where there's going to be like a huge burst in people looking for it, and like only you for them to find, because then they'll all go to you and they will inflate you, and you will become the next Yogscast. That's probably not going to happen. That's happened, like, only the Yogscast are the people that's really happened to. A little bit of that happened with the Cataclysm beta for, like, Total Biscuit. But for the most part, yeah, that's really unlikely to happen. But still, there's no reason that you can't, like, take there's no reason that happens on a smaller scale all the time. So if you can find, like, an indie game that's coming out in a month that nobody's heard about that looks really cool, go for it. Make videos about it. Have fun. Like, message the developer and be like, hey, I'm interested in creating a YouTube series for your game. Is it possible that I can have a beta build or whatever? Something like that. And indie developers are, for the most part, awesome people. I'm reaching out to a few of them right now to try and do YouTube series on their games, basically in order to see if I can find something that'll be interesting for people that they haven't seen yet. Because you never want to be trying to use your viewers. You always want to be, like, finding something that's beneficial for both your viewers and you. You want to be giving them cool content, and you'll also benefit from that because they're watching your cool content. You don't want to just have them, like, click a button, watch your video, and not actually gain anything out of that. There needs to be, like, it needs to be a two-way street. You need to be giving your viewers stuff, and they'll, in return, you'll get views and all those good numbers out of that. But it needs to start with content to the viewer. That's where everything starts, is content. Everything builds from there. Don't go from anywhere else to content. Go from content out. Expand. Be free. That kind of stuff. Let's see. If you're playing a video game, probably it's best to either pick one you know a lot or pick one you don't know at all. And that's kind of an interesting theory, but basically, this is what I think right now, is you either want to be like a moderately knowledgeable expert type thing about it, or you want to not know that much about it and be learning alongside your viewers, or somewhere in the middle, but you don't want to be like the half newbie that isn't capable of explaining. If you're not capable of explaining things as you learn them, stay away from something that you don't know. If you're like an expert in a game as well, but you're not having any fun unless you're learning things, then stay away from that as well. Like if you're an expert at like Minecraft and you know all the stuff, but you're not going to talk at all about what you're doing, then stay away from that. Like if you'd just be like sitting there and going, of course we're going to get the trees here and go make our nether portal, whatever. Like that's the kind of stuff you probably want to stay away from. You want to find a mid ground between knowing everything and learning stuff alongside your viewers. And there's nothing quite like when your viewer gives you a comment and you incorporate it into your episode. If you mention a viewer, that is a great way to boost their loyalty. Basically, the more that you engage your viewers are going to notice a channel that engages with them. And again, it's the two-way street idea. Basically, if you give your viewers stuff, they'll give it back. They'll give you back. Like they'll like if you talk about what they've said, if you incorporate their ideas, the good ones. Again, sift through the rubbish. There's a lot of rubbish. But if you connect with your audience and let them know that you're connecting with them, that'll help you. That'll help your viewers. Everybody feels happy that way. It's a win-win-win situation. Lose for the other channels that don't do it. Let's see. Episode length. You want to be going probably 20 to 30 minutes for most series. 50 minutes is kind of like a special thing. 2 hours if you've got like live stream footage to dump. 5 minutes if you've got like a mini-sode or an announcement. 10 to 15 minutes if you're showing off something. 1 minute if you've got like a quick gimmick video. But otherwise, for the most part, 20 to 30 minutes is kind of your range to be aiming for. People are always going to say longer, longer, longer. They don't actually want longer, longer, longer. They think they want longer, longer, longer. That's a case where you, as the content creator, have to figure out that the viewers are saying something that they don't actually want, and that they don't know why they don't want that. And that's, again, something, like, I'm sure you've asked for longer episodes, and then somebody's released a longer episode, and you've not watched the whole thing. That's like, what happens. People will stop watching after 30 minutes or so of your stuff, or they'll even see something that's 2 hours, and they'll be not interested in watching something for that long. So it's better if you release multiple shorter episodes. Again, 15 minutes is sometimes a bit short. I release some episodes 15 minutes, and I understand why people want them longer than that. 20 to 30 minutes is probably a good range to aim for most of your stuff. Much longer than that, again, and you'll start having problems unless it's a special video, like this one is. This one might run over because it's a special video. Let's see. Think about when you're picking your game. Back to picking your game. Think about how easy it's going to be for you to create content. So, for example, for me, World of Warcraft, Tribes Ascend, all those kind of things, it's kind of like plug and play. I start playing the game, I hit the record button, I go on autopilot in talking mode, like I've train myself now how to record videos talking mode. That happened after the first month. My brain kind of has now got a recording mode. That you'll hopefully develop one of those as well. I'm not sure. I've done improv comedy for years now, and I've been an actor. I've been involved in an actor. I just finished my musical actually. It was involved in The Drowsy Chaperone. If you're ever interested in looking up that musical, it's kind of this musical within a comedy. I played the man in chair, which is like the main guy. It was very cool, very very awesome. Ran a few shows of that. That's why I've been busy the past few weeks. If you're watching this when it first comes out, if you're not watching this when it first comes out, ignore that. Where was I? I was saying something useful. Oh yes. Think about how long it takes you to record an episode. So if you've got like FV Disco where he builds an awesome machine and it takes him like days to build that machine and then he makes a 20-minute episode, think of that kind of ratio versus the like 1-to-1 plug and play thing. You probably want something closer to the 1-to-1 side, at least for when you're starting off, unless you can actually spend 48 hours and make something amazing like FV Disco can. You probably can't. So you probably want to have the kind of stuff that that you can create relatively quickly, and that will that'll give you like, you want to be able to create good content, but you also want to be able to create it within a reasonable amount of time. Sorry about rubbing my nose so much. I've gotten all itchy all of a sudden. It wasn't I actually recorded this episode. This is another thing. Re-record your episodes if they're bad. Last time I recorded, this is the second time I'm recording this episode. A lot of the episodes you'll end up seeing, like, I back up my world before recording an episode, and if it's bad, I throw it out and do it again. And that's something you should consider doing very much as well. I know I recorded, like, my very first episode, episode 1, multiple times before actually doing it. Which brings me to another thing, which is, that you want to be... I had a thing, I was gonna say something, it was smart. It was so smart. I had a thing that I was gonna say, and it was good. It was, episode 1s, yes. Whenever you're making a new series or whatever, or your first series, your episode 1 is your most important video. Because here's the way people will do it. They'll be like, a new series, how enjoyable. Let me begin, or they'll like see your episode 17 on their feed suggested videos thing. They'll click over to it, and they'll be like, oh, the first 30 seconds of this episode are rather enjoyable. I am going to find episode 1. They'll find episode 1. And then if that's no good, they're done. They're gone. You've lost them. So your episode 1 needs to be the best. And if you've had like if you've had a bad series or whatever, that you've got a bad episode 1 for, start a new series, have a good episode 1, go from there. That's actually like my Technic Season 2 has a very bad episode 1 because of bad audio quality. Hopefully when I start my 3rd season, which should be pretty soon, that'll be better audio quality on that one, and it'll actually be a good quality episode that'll do better at converting those people, because that's a very interesting thing, a very important thing. Yeah, focus on your first episode, and if you need to, do like a season 0 of 5 episodes so that you can get some practice or whatever beforehand. Don't assume that people care about your stuff until they care about your stuff, and they've kind of proven it to you. And this is a kind of a like harsh, cynical thing, but I see people posting channels all the time where like the channel comes up, the next day they upload a video that says, hey, so I don't have FAPs or whatever working yet. I just thought I'd upload a quick video asking what you guys want to see, blah, 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 wishy-washy stuff. No. Bad, don't do that. Don't. Just, people don't care about your stuff until proven otherwise. And for me, this, like, I don't assume that anybody cares about my stuff. Even now, like, a lot of the time, I still don't take that for granted. And you certainly shouldn't when you've got, like, 2 to 50 subscribers. Or 0 to 50 subscribers, even. You want to be, like... You want to ask yourself, are they actually going to care about what... Like, if I saw somebody post this, and I was one of their, like, 25 subscribers or whatever, would I actually care about what they're doing here? Would I, like... Or if... What I see is people, like, post this, their video, their first video, and it's like, hey, this is an announcement that this channel's going up, and what games do you want to... What game do you want me to play? Nobody cares until... And, like, people will care if you do, like, 5 episodes of a season, and it's like, your voice is great, and you've picked a bad game, and then people are like, dude, do other games. Then posting a video like that is warranted. I do, like, now I can do that, but I would have never done that at the start. Like, content first, then audience interaction. Audience interaction is an amazing thing. Do it. But after you have an audience that cares. Because otherwise you look silly and nothing actually gets done. And I hope I haven't made you feel bad or whatever, but it's, yeah. Don't assume people care until proven otherwise, and you'll have a better experience. Otherwise, you'll have a bit of a bad time. Um, Promoting yourself. All right, I see people posting on other people's channels things like subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you, or things like copy and pasting this and posting it to a bunch of other small channels is like, hey, cool vid, sub to me, question mark, and doing all that. Don't do that. I think I've already talked about that a little bit, but don't spam other people's channels. Like, even just posting one to each person's channel, like, unless you're like a legitimate fan of that person's channel and you're like, even then, they're probably not going to read it because it's going to get caught among all the rest of the spam. And if you post it on people's videos like, hey, cool vid, come check out my channel, blah, 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 and you copy paste that and post that to 8 videos, that's not going to help you very much at all. How many times have you actually looked at that on somebody else's video and clicked it and been like, oh, hey, a cool new channel? I would guess 0 to 1. So yeah, that's not an effective way of promoting yourself. Effective ways of promoting yourself are asking, like, posting a thread to various forums. Like, if you're Minecraft, minecraftforum.net. If you just Google search Minecraft forums, you'll find a bunch of them. Reddit, reddit.com/r/Minecraft if you're doing Minecraft, /r/WoW if you're doing World of Warcraft, /r/tribes on Reddit, all those things. Are a bunch of different ways to do that. I stay away from 4chan if I were you, because you'll just attract the trolls. Be careful with trying to get your videos promoted on 4chan. It can work for you, but if you've got like my channel wouldn't work on 4chan because I'm not enough of a troll myself. And if you don't know what 4chan is, I said nothing. So yes, promote yourself that way. Don't just advertise. People don't like seeing advertisements on forums. Instead, the best way to do this is to legitimately ask for advice on a forum. Because you'll actually get better advice on a forum than you would on your videos. Because people on YouTube are looking for interesting content to watch. People on a Minecraft forum know Minecraft, and they'll be able to look at your series and they'll be able to say, hey, you're doing great, but I stopped watching it 1 minute through because you used a sword to cut down a tree. Or, hey, you're doing great, but I think you misunderstand this game mechanic, and that caused me to rage a little bit. Stuff like that. So legitimately ask for feedback in forums. Be like, hey guys, I've started this YouTube series, I'd love to get a little bit of help. Here's a link. Here's what I've been doing, blah, 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 blah. That's what I do. It works pretty well for me. And I actually got lucky. Minecraft Forums has a videos module. In addition to creating a forum post, you can actually add your video to their site, and they'll have the newest videos on like one of their front pages. They actually used to have it on their very front page. Now they don't have it on. They have it on one of their like secondary front pages, and they add like every. They used to do it like every 6 hours. They'd look through and approve them, and the 5 most recent ones would be on that. But for like one day, they didn't update it for like 3 days, and mine was at the top, just by luck. And that's how my channel got started. That's how I got to 100 subscribers in a week. And if I was to do it again, I probably wouldn't be that lucky again. So for those of you wondering how I got started, that's how things started. And then at about 950 subscribers, I got a shout out from Doc M, because Doc M77 has this cool thing where he reviews people's channels. And so I sent mine in, and he did it, and he was like, he said something about me being funny, and it was great. It was because Doc M77 is somebody that I've been watching for like a year, and I saw his stuff. I saw his video, and I was like, that was like the first milestone in like my channel being awesome history. Besides the 100 subscriber thing, my voice is getting a bit raspy. I'm gonna have some Dr. Pepper here. Diet Dr. Pepper. Lovely. Sorry about the dead space there. If you're watching this video analytically, you should be yelling at me right now for that dead space. Ah. But not that burp. That was a glorious burp. And that's the thing that brings me to another thing, which is watch other people's videos analytically. If you've got somebody that you like their videos, figure out why and then do it yourself. Or if you can't do it yourself, figure out why and then take some part of that and do it yourself. Because people like watching people like watching Total Biscuits videos. Figure out why. Figure out what elements of that you can incorporate that or mold into your own special style. But do that because it's just so easy to figure out what you're doing. Like, watch somebody else's video and be like, huh, why am I not doing that? And then come up with a list of reasons like, okay, I'm doing this differently because that's my style, because I can't physically do this, because I'm just not that intrinsically funny, or whatever. But I can do such and such that he's doing, and that makes my videos, like, that'll make your videos better. People will like them more. Now, don't blatantly copy. Don't just run around yelling, diggy diggy hole, or whatever. Don't copy other people's channels that already exist. Don't copy their slogans. Maybe reference it like once or twice if there's a funny, appropriate moment, but otherwise, stay away from that. Another semi-glorious burp there. Hopefully you didn't hear that. Let's see. Any service that claims to be able to get you views or subs is a scam. And that goes back to the same stuff I was saying earlier. They're not real views, they're not real subs, they're not people actually watching your content, they're people clicking buttons because it says that people will then view and sub to their channels. So, yeah, don't do that. Not worth it. Few quick tips with YouTube. If you have the time, add annotations to your videos so that people can like click for the next one, and always give people playlist links. Except for on MinecraftForum.net, if you're using the video module, they can't accept playlist links. Give them the raw link with $V equals. But it's worthwhile learning, like when you send a YouTube link, you know how it's like watch blah 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 $V equals and then a thing. That's the thing to your video. Then $list equals. That's the thing to your playlist. If you send a playlist link, then it'll show them on the bottom of their screen the playlist, and they can actually then watch along, and it'll automatically watch the next thing in the series for them, and then they won't have to like look through and try and find the next thing in the series, because a lot of people, any amount of effort that people have to go through is gonna, some percentage of people are not gonna be willing to do that. So it's better to try and make it as easy as possible for them. A channel page, it's worthwhile having a nice looking channel page. Again, just like I was going with a simple blue background color until I got to like that 3,500 subs, and then somebody made me a background. That's not all that important. What's more important is that your videos are arranged kind of neatly, that you have a good channel name, that you don't have grammatical errors in your about side or whatever, that you know, just have it look kind of professional. If you start getting past like 100 subscribers, a Twitter account might be worthwhile, a Facebook account might be worthwhile, because you want to expose yourself to people that you haven't exposed yourself to before. Don't take that sentence literally. Don't do it. Yes, that's that. There are a few things that I could be doing that would help me that I don't do because I don't have the time in my day. This isn't my like a full-time job or anything. I don't have enough time in my day to do everything. Neither will you. You won't have enough time to do everything in the list that I've just given you. But here are the few things that I would add to this list that I don't do myself. Editing your videos in a lot of interesting ways. I use Sony Vegas to do minimal editing. I don't actually do all that much editing yet, mostly because it takes a lot of time, and I'm better at just kind of pumping out content, and pumping out, like, a Let's Play, you won't need to do all that much editing for, but if you do other kind of, like, montage-y things, then looking into figuring out how to edit kind of well is worthwhile. Shelling out the $50 for the cheapest version of Sony Vegas. I basically have the cheapest version of Sony Vegas. I have one that comes with a few extras for, like, $100. It's not really worth the $700 for the Pro version, and, I know that there are some people who've pirated it. I don't know, I don't really have a huge stance on piracy, but I will tell you that I actually bought my copy of Sony Vegas legitimately. The one of the versions that costs about $100. And it's worth it. It's a great program, and funding future releases for this one is probably worthwhile because there's some stuff that they could stand to add to their program. Anyways, another thing, if you want to promote your videos through YouTube, go for it. It's a very good way of actually legitimately promoting your videos through YouTube. Sorry, I hope my screen didn't just go black for you there, because it just ran out of power. Anyways, promoting your videos through YouTube is a good way of promoting your videos. It'll put you above, like, as a little featured link if you promote your videos, and you'll pay, like, you'll set a budget, you'll be like, alright, I'll pay $50 per person who clicks my video, or 50 cents per person who clicks my video link, or like 2 cents or however much they set it at. And I set a budget of like $100, and then you associate different search terms with that. I haven't actually done this myself, but this is how like that you can do it with your Facebook page as well. All this kind of stuff, I've kind of looked into it, and then I've decided not worth it for me, because I kind of like not paying money for this. I kind of want this, like, if as soon as I start monetizing my videos, which should hopefully be pretty soon, then I'll potentially put some of that money back into promoting the channel. But until then, I'm kind of trying to do this relatively cheaply. All I've bought is an external hard drive to record my videos to, which is a good idea because there's sometimes a weird problem where if you try to record to the same hard drive that you're playing a game from and saving game data to at the same time, then it kind of is like, too many things to do, boom, which results in like frame rate drops. So that's a quick little top tip for you. But where was I? I was on a thing. I was talking about, promoting your videos through YouTube. It's a good way of doing it. It's way better than like trying to post on somebody's channel, hey, come watch my video. That does not work. It doesn't. If somebody actually has like DocM77's like channel spotlight thing, that is a legitimate thing. He'll look through those. Do that. That worked for me. But don't just go randomly posting on people's channels. And I know Nearby Gamers sent out like messages to people, like, hey, check out my content. Again, my stance there is I think it's kind of a gray area. always start with content is my word of advice. If you're gonna do something like that, like message people and be like, hey, I'm sending out this bulk message. Admit to that, and then say, but I think like from what I've seen, you're subscribed to this guy. You might like this content. Make sure you have content first. Always go from content out, and if in doubt, err on the side of not spamming anybody. And I wouldn't have done what Nearby did, but I can see like it's worked for him obviously. But that's because he's like, as much as I hate to say it, he's a good commentator, and that works for him. He's definitely way above average. And if you do that as a not above average commentator, people are just going to get mad at you. They're going to report you for spamming, and you're going to have a bad time. Now, keeping a schedule for your video is another thing that apparently is a good idea to get more views. It's another thing that I don't do because, first off, like my interests in games change, and I'd rather not be forced to schedule because I think that would kill some of my soul if I had to release videos for a game when I wasn't interested in playing it. But it does help people. Being consistent is a good idea, making sure that you're always releasing videos at around the same amount so that people watch your stuff and they get into the groove of watching your things every night when they get home as they're brushing their teeth or whatever. That's a good stuff to do. Those are good things to do. Alright, I think I've covered pretty much everything here. Looks like it's been about a 40-minute record session. Not bad, not bad. Again, because it's a special, I think that's okay. Let me show you a little bit around my room. First off, here's what I look like without headphones. Yes, that's my face in regular mode. You'll probably see that again when I end the recording in a bit. What do we have here? I have some books. I have a few college letters around here. Like 13 or 14 admits and 5 or 6 denies. Looks like I'll end up going to UC Berkeley, for those of you wondering. UC Berkeley for in the College of Letters and Sciences. So that's what I'll be doing. If you're wondering about my college situation, what else do I have around here? I have some Warhammer models. Warhammer 40,000. It's like a model. It's a game where you get miniature plastic figures and metal figures you used to. Now they have this new like fine cast thing. You build them, you paint them. It's very fun. It's very expensive because like they ridiculously overprice the plastic things because they can. This is one of the guys that I made here. Yeah, this guy actually won. This guy and his squad of 4 other people like him won me $90 in a painting contest. I used to be quite into this. Yeah, for those of you that actually play this game, I hope you'll be able to appreciate some of the stuff that I've done with him. And if you're interested in seeing the rest of my Warhammer collection, I'd be willing to do that in a future video. What else do I have around here? I have a cow jumping over a moon. I'm not sure if you can see that back there. I have a stapler. Stapler. One of the weird ones that does that, and then it's like you can do it with your pinky. Or maybe not with your pinky. Maybe if you have pinky strength, but like with your index finger, you can staple things. I have a few empty cans of Dr. Pepper, as any good gamer does. I have these guys. These are MLG approved anti-glare sunglasses that I got for Christmas. That aren't all that anti-glare. Don't tell anybody. Yeah. Got I think that's all I'll show you of my room for now. If you're interested in seeing more of that, I'm probably not going to start a vlog series or anything like that. I don't think that's necessarily my style, but I might do some more videos now that I've shown you my face. I'll do more like this, maybe for certain things like that. So I believe that's everything I wanted to cover. If you have any ideas of your own about making channels, if you've had some success with something that I've forgotten to mention, gaming channels related mostly, for the most part, is what this is about. Go ahead and post that in the description, or not in the description, in the comments, and upvote other ones that you think are cool suggestions. And hopefully then people will be able to get a little bit of extra help from looking down there. If you appreciated this video in any way, I'd love it. I'd love a like, a subscribe, all that stuff. And for those of you wondering, this is how you, at the end of your video, you ask people for likes and subscribes and that kind of stuff. You let them know that it's very helpful for you. And that's a good way of getting around, or getting that out without actually trying to scam anybody. My old strategy of like asking for blocks for subscribing, that kind of stuff is not actually a very good idea. Technically, it's against the YouTube community guidelines. I don't think they actually punish that unless it's on a big scale. But incentivizing clicks on anything in your videos with anything other than goodwill is a bad thing. But it is a good idea at the end of your videos to be like, hey, if you like this, I'd appreciate a like, a subscribe, a share, a favorite. Anything you can do would be great. If you didn't like this video, dislike it. Although, don't dislike this video. I add that to the end of my videos, but I hope that doesn't actually cause anybody to hit the dislike button. I hope that just helps them instead to think, to hit the like button. That's the clever thinking that I have there. But again, um, it's a good idea also if you let your viewers know that you read your comments and that it's better if they get their negative thoughts to you in a comment. Then you'll take that. You can take that in a that's more specific than a dislike. Yeah, that's a good way if you can to try and avoid dislikes like that because dislikes hurt your search ratings and you don't want dislikes on your videos. It makes you sad. So I believe that's everything I wanted to cover. Thanks everybody for getting me to set 5,000 subscriber specials. That's amazing. 5,000 people. That's like lots of people. That's like more than 10 times the size of my high school right now. That's many people. Thanks, guys. It does mean quite a lot to me, and I appreciate it. And onwards and upwards. Next goal: 1 trillion million subscribers. Thanks everybody for watching. My name has been Dratnos. This has been my face. Goodbye.